And so the one thing that I'm going to need y'all's help on are some other transparency bills that it could pass. I couldn't even get a hearing on one, Senate Bill 1102, which I think that when we have mass shootings and HB 30, okay, is to build off of this, but I also think that we need to understand what makes somebody do such destruction. And that bill just simply asks that we get the toxicology report. I sat there on the Protect All Texans committee that Chairman Nichols, Senator Nichols chaired, that I was the vice chair of, and to understand, are some of our these people that do great destruction, are they on some kind of drug? Is there something that alters their mind that keeps them from being in reality? And so I really couldn't get that bill even moving. There's some things about schools, and Senate Bill 1528 that is a TEA snapshot that we stopped when the COVID came. I'm trying to get that back. When I went to TEA, I asked them, let's start doing that again. They said, well, it's not required by law, so we're not going to do it. It's great transparency on attendance records and hirings and all these different things that I really used. And then I know KXAN, I believe, covered the story of Senate Bill 1629. It made it to the calendars. It made it on the calendar, and of course they didn't get to it because of the slowdown of the calendar that always happens that time of year. But that came out of the push by the press to get information, and what 1629 did was increase transparency and accountabilities of nursing facilities that participated in Medicaid, which is most of them now, by requiring disclosure of the ownership structure of nursing facilities in Texas. We don't even know who owns them, and by requiring HHSC commissioner to establish an annual direct care expense ratio for reimbursements. And that again gets to the heart of, we're giving you all this money. Are you caring? Is it caring for the patient, or is it going to the private equity firm in Boca Raton? I don't know. I can't get you that information, and I'm seeking that information too. So there's bills that we had that were certainly triumphant, and we did a good job in getting them over the goal line, but like Senate Bill 2010 by Senator Schwertner, I was a co-author on it, would have provided needed transparency to detect and prevent market manipulation by requiring reports by the independent market monitor and the PUC on potential violations and enforcement actions. Well, that got all the way to the governor's desk and was vetoed. So, and it could have been one of those that it wasn't as important as property taxes. I don't remember what the veto proclamation said, but what I'm saying there is that all of that information is hugely important. And it's hugely important for us as lawmakers to make decisions, and it's very important for you so that you can use your discernment and what you push out to the public. And I would encourage you, young journalists, don't have blinders. Don't have blinders. Push it all to the public. Give it to them so that then they are the informed voter, or the people that call at 9 o'clock at night and ask you certain questions about certain bills. I make it a practice when I'm in that office late at night by myself, because the staff usually races to the phone and answers it before I do, to answer that phone and to listen to what the governed have questions about their government. And so with that, I have to say that it's really an honor to be here. I sent a text to my chief of staff and said, whew, I looked around here, and I mean, this is the who's who of some of the greatest reporters that cover our Capitol. And sometimes you can be nervous about that. Chris G., did you survive my speech? Are you okay? Because I think that this happens. We talked about this at the table, is that sometimes government just doesn't want to give you that information. And sometimes that's because they think you're going to write it in a way that is not truthful. But again, if we push that information out on databases and different things, and you let people have that information, I think that we can restore that trust in our institutions. Hugely important. So with that, I'm almost out of time. I was successful in not letting y'all have questions, but I am going to take questions. Really.